It's like an African chant.
Ain't no more time. What the is Puffy doing?
Millions and millions of dollars. Now, a lot of folks don't believe that, Craig. You had a lot of it stolen from you. The devil tried to steal your soul, too.
Yes, amen.
But we took care of that thief.
Yes. Praise the Lord.
But I knew that it was God talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way it made me feel emotionally. I broke down, started crying all over the place in the car. And I'm sorry. I was thinking about trying to do this to somebody because it was really in my heart to kill him.
So, Rolling Stone just dropped a bombshell investigative report that sheds new light on the tragic story of Craig Mack, the first artist who ever dared to walk away from Bad Boy. And just when we thought we'd heard it all, 50 Cent, who's been working on that highly anticipated documentary about Diddy, has spilled even more tea, revealing shocking new details about how Craig Mack's life took a terrifying nosedive after crossing paths with Diddy. First, it was the nightmare of working under Diddy's thumb at Bad Boy. And when Craig finally managed to escape, he ended up falling into the clutches of a doomsday cult that preyed on his trauma. And just when you think it can't get any darker, there's more to this creepy story. See, Craig isn't the only Bad Boy artist who turned to religion after their run-ins with Diddy. From Mace to Shine and Loon, all these Bad Boy artists had to cleanse their souls after dealing with Diddy. As for Craig Mack, before his heart gave out at just 47 years old, he was so deeply scarred by his time with Diddy that he actually came this close to pulling the trigger and ending Diddy's life. So, what really happened to Craig Mack? How did his time at Bad Boy push him to the brink? And what did Rolling Stone and 50 Cent uncover about Craig's untimely death? Let's dive in and find out.
Say, you know what I'm saying? To everybody over there at the Bad Boy family, you know what I'm saying? God bless y'all, you know what I'm saying, and everything else. And my soul and my heart is with y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Now, did you foresee a lot of times?
Yeah. I mean, did I want it to be my man Big? No. Did I want it to be Pop? No. But did I see it? Yeah, I saw it. You know what I'm saying? And I saw it because I saw the way it was headed.
The tragic life of Craig Mack. Craig Jameson Mack, better known to the world as Craig Mack, was born in the Bronx but grew up on Long Island. Back in his early days, he went by the stage name MCEs and started rapping as a teenager. His talent was undeniable, and he was already hitting the road on tours pretty early in his music career. In a 1995 interview with the New York Times, Craig shared that it was his cousins who first introduced him to rap when he was just 9 years old. By the time he was 12, he was already writing his own lyrics. "I knew I wanted to be like LL Cool J and Run DMC," he said, reflecting on his early inspirations. Starting out so young meant Craig had the chance to rub shoulders with some industry veterans, including Alvin Toney. That connection with Alvin played a crucial role in Craig's journey, leading him to both the peak and the struggles of his career. It was Alvin Toney who set up a meeting for Craig to rap in front of Sean Diddy. Holmes, and Diddy was so impressed that he immediately offered Craig a record deal with his newly launched label, Bad Boy Records. In fact, Craig became the very first rapper to drop music under the Bad Boy banner. His 1994 hit single Flava in Ya Ear blew up, topping the charts and even hitting #1 on Billboard's US Hot Rap Songs. The remix of that track also became legendary, marking the breakout of the notorious B.I.G. and one of Busta Rhymes' first solo moments. Craig was literally on fire, with everyone in the industry falling head over heels for him, eagerly waiting for what he'd drop next after his debut album. Diddy even hyped things up in a 1994 interview on Yo! MTV Raps, saying he was already working with Craig on a second album that was supposed to drop in January 1995. But here's the kicker: despite all that talk, the album never materialized.
And I want to congratulate Craig Mack on his Grammy nomination.
No question.
Yes, baby, yeah.
Cool, that's cool, and I'm sure you got much things in store for my man.
Yeah, definitely.
Here.
We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January. Besides that, we about to just drop our R&B stuff.
The Puff Daddy album.
But did you notice how confused Craig looked when Diddy confidently claimed they were working on Craig's second album? Well, that's because the reality at Bad Boy was a whole different story, and years later, Craig spilled the tea in an interview about what really went down with that album.
I got with somebody, You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say their names. I'm just gonna say somebody that wanted to do another album with me. So I said, cool. I gave him my price, and the price was, to me, was low. You know, and they were supposed to give me the money. And I go in the studio and I start banging out. So he came to me and was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you. I said, you know what, man? I want to do these songs. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do this and that and the third, let's do it. You give me the money as we go. You know what I'm saying? I'll take a third again. I'll take a third again when we finish the actual recording of the album. Nothing happened. No money. So I stopped recording. I said, I'm not gonna be an idiot and sit here and do all this stuff for everybody, and I'm not gonna see anything from it. You know? Next thing I know, money come, with this bullish mafia mentality with him and his goons and all that stuff like that. Talking about, yo, you owe us an album. And I'm like, excuse me, my friends, but I don't owe you owe me money. You know what I'm saying? So if you can come up with the rest of this dough, if we can come up with the rest of the album. No dough, no records.
Craig revealed that Diddy straight up threatened him. But Craig wasn't backing down. He was ready to stand his ground, and he even contemplated taking out Diddy. However, he changed his mind at the last moment.
That's it. I don't think you know what you mean when you're saying that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what type of dude I am. You know what kind of muscle I got. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you need to be in the studio. So I said, all right, meet me up there at 7 o'clock. And I went and got one of my gunmen. My man, I'm not gonna mention his name either. He came with me up there, okay? And they saw him, and they fell back, because they were gonna do something to me. But they didn't. So we talked about it, came to definite, look, no cash, no record. I'm not gonna be sitting here going in the studio all night, every night, busting my ass, and I ain't seeing nothing from it. And you're making me feel like, even if you did have the rest of that cash, us taking it to the next level is gonna be a problem, because there's gonna be money problems. I can see it already. So I caught a couple of threats, a couple of, passers-by in the street and everything else. I caught a couple of threats. And I was sitting there, going to pick up my sister from work. And I'm in her car, I'm driving her car to go pick up from work. And I just was sitting in the chair and I was like, God, I'm so tired of everything that's going on. I was in my sister, I called my sister, because we've known each other for so long, you know what I'm saying? It's like brother and sister, But I was in my sister's car, and I had a gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this. But if it comes to getting ugly where somebody's going to be trying to kill me, I'm going to have to do something first, or do something to prevent that from happening. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm frustrated. I really need your advice and your love right now. And I started flipping around the radio station, 660 AM or FM, one of them stations where the Supreme team used to be on. Early in the morning, and the dudes from Hempstead would have that joints blasting. So I was looking for that. And when I turned the station, all this gospel music came on. And it was this song I've never heard before in my life ever, but I knew that it was God talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way it made me feel emotionally, I broke down, started crying all over the place in the car. And I'm sorry. I was thinking about trying to do this to somebody, because it was really in my heart to kill him. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna do it. But I knew in my conscience also that that's not the right thing you're supposed to be doing.
Craig did manage to drop a second album in 1997 without Bad Boy. However, it didn't hit like his debut. None of the singles made it onto the charts, and he couldn't recapture that initial success. Fast forward to 2002, and Craig popped up in the music video for Diddy's hit I Need a Girl Part 1, sparking hopes that maybe he was gearing up for a comeback. Word on the street was that Craig was working on his third studio album in 2002, with plans to drop it in 2007. He even teased fans with a single called Mac Tonight in 2006. But after that, Craig pretty much disappeared from the hip-hop scene, until 2012, when a shocking video leaked on YouTube revealing that he had joined a cult called Overcomer Ministry down in Walterboro, South Carolina. overcomer ministry until his final days, even as his health deteriorated. So what pushed Craig Mack to join this cult? How did he go from being a rising star in the rap game to ending up as a broken man in a cult? Well, you won't be surprised to hear that Diddy plays a role in this story. Rolling Stone just dropped an investigative report that spills some shocking, never-before-heard details about Craig's time at Bad Boy Records, and trust me, it's a lot to take in. Rolling Stone investigates. So here's the scoop from Rolling Stone's latest investigative report. Turns out that Craig was actually in talks with Suge Knight about jumping ship to Death Row Records back in the mid-90s. Apparently, Craig was seriously considering joining Death Row, especially since his career was hitting a rough patch, even though he had that massive hit Flava in Yair, which was pretty much the anthem that put Bad Boy Records on the map. The report goes on to reveal that things got so bad for Craig at Bad Boy that he tried to file for bankruptcy just to get out of his contract. His sophomore album Operation Get Down was stuck in limbo until 1997, and he was feeling the heat. But thanks to constant clashes with Diddy and some tough bankruptcy laws, Craig couldn't break free. That's when Suge Knight came into the picture, and the two reportedly started discussing the possibility of Mack joining Death Row's East Coast division. Suge Knight actually flew Craig out to Los Angeles and dangled a pretty sweet deal in front of him, a $200,000 advance and a whopping $1.25 million recording budget. It looked like Craig was all set to make the switch to Death Row, but things got complicated fast. Once Bad Boy got wind of these secret negotiations, they stepped in. To even get a chance to leave his Bad Boy contract, Craig had to withdraw his bankruptcy filing and agreed to give up a portion of his potential Death Row earnings. But just when it seemed like Craig was about to make this big move, everything fell apart. The tragic murder of Tupac in September 1996 shook up the entire hip-hop world, including Death Row. With Tupac gone, plans for Craig's future with Death Row went up in smoke, leaving him stuck in an even more uncertain situation. Craig's ex-wife, Roxanne Alexis Hill Johnson, told Rolling Stone he was scared. Puff was pissed Mack was leaving Bad Boy and the fact that he was going to go with Suge. From what I understand, Puff was enraged. Roxanne added, Puffy became a vindictive bastard and really stuck it to him for doing that. I do feel like Puff's the trigger. He effed my family up. Puff kicked it off. He was the catalyst. But just when you thought it couldn't get more tragic, Rolling Stone dropped a bombshell about Craig's cause of death. It turns out he didn't die of congestive heart failure as previously reported. Craig's suspicious death. On March 12, 2018, news broke that Craig passed away at just 47 years old, and it was initially reported that he died of heart failure. The funeral took place in his hometown of Long Island, New York, and according to DJ Scratch, who was the only famous person in attendance, there was something strange about that day. Scratch later posted a picture of Craig's obituary with a message saying that the funeral was weird. I've never been to a service for someone famous, and I was the only famous person to show up, Scratch wrote. Very weird day today.
Real simple, you know, man, I love your show. I like what you're doing. Brilliant, right? That's why I came here. Fresh out of jail, I'll come check you out, right?
Right.
Why the bulletproof vest?
Oh, it's not. Oh no, that's just. It's you know, style. You've been in the can for a while. That's what everybody. That's what all the talk show hosts are wearing.
This is a new thing, right?
Yeah.
See, if somebody gonna do something about it, see, technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. Kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they call. They get blood from somebody with AIDS.
Yeah.
And then they shoot you with it.
Oh, so that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An easy thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay. Wait, right in the mood.
Yeah. Wow.
Eazy-E went public with his diagnosis on March 16, 1995, and back then it was reported that he'd contracted the virus from a partner. By the week of March 20th, while he was still in the hospital, Eazy-E sent out a final cryptic message to his fans and warned them about getting involved with what he called their institution. Don't be a fool and join their class. They want you to enroll in their institution so they can expletive you with their new expletive. Tragically, on March 26, 1995, Eazy-E passed away from pneumonia related to AIDS, just a month after his diagnosis. Now, at first, no one really thought there was anything odd about Eazy-E's death. especially since in the 90s AIDS was often seen as a death sentence. But over time, all sorts of conspiracy theories started swirling, with the most persistent one pointing fingers at Suge Knight. It's unclear exactly where this theory started, but Suge himself mentioned it during his notorious interview with Jimmy Kimmel. And it's not just fans who are into this theory. Eazy-E's son, young Eazy-E, also claimed that his dad was killed. Back in 2015, young Eazy-E shared a clip from that Jimmy Kimmel interview and wrote, "His death never added up to what people have always said. Maybe they think we're idiots, blind to the truth. I don't know. But for you new fans, youngsters, and people who just don't know much." Notice in Straight Outta Compton, E did not get sick until after the studio incident with Suge. Young Eazy-E went on to say that Suge himself admitted in the interview with Kimmel that injecting people instead of shooting them is a new thing that's done, also adding that the truth is out there. So now that Rolling Stone revealed that Craig Mack also died from HIV/AIDS, fans are starting to wonder if Diddy played a part in Craig's tragic death. After all, we heard from Craig himself how Diddy threatened him, and how he came close to ending Diddy's life. And then the fact that Craig didn't see any other escape but to join a cult is another major red flag. But what makes this story even more tragic is the fact that Craig wasn't the only bad boy artist who found religion after dealing with Diddy. According to 50 Cent. 50 Cent exposes Diddy. Some of 50 Cent's old IG posts have started making the rounds again, and let's just say he didn't hold back in these posts. 50 actually called Diddy Satan, hinted that Diddy was involved in Biggie's death, and even made a list of all the artists who, as 50 put it, had to run to church after dancing with the devil. One of the posts shows a photo of Diddy, and in true 50 Cent style, the caption reads, "I rebuke you, Satan. What you say? No puffy juice." 50 Cent didn't stop there. He also posted a photo of former bad boy artist G. Depp, who was convicted of murder in 2012 and given a 15-year-to-life sentence. But here's the wild part: this case was beyond bizarre because G. Depp actually turned himself in nearly 17 years after the murder. On December 15, 2010, Depp just walked into an NYC precinct and confessed to killing a man in Queens back in 1993. At first, the police were skeptical, especially since G. Depp was reportedly under the influence when he made the confession. But when they matched his story to a cold case, they went ahead and charged him with murder. If you ask 50 Cent, there's definitely something off about this whole situation. 50 wrote, Depp, after dancing with the devil, got high, walked into a police station, and confessed to shooting a man 16 years earlier. Now serving 15 to life, where they do that at. After this, 50 shared a photo of Diddy with Biggie, suggesting that Diddy is responsible for Biggie's death. 50 captioned it, "Big dead after dancing with the devil then?" 50 Cent went on to post about a bunch of former bad boy artists who turned to religion after distancing themselves from Diddy. First up was a photo of the late Craig Mack with his cult leader, and 50 captioned it, "Craig Mack after dancing with the devil. Puff beat them all out the money. Now they praying for something good to happen. No puffy juice." Then, 50 posted photos of former bad boy artists Shine, Loon, and Mace, all of whom found religion after severing all ties with Diddy. Shine made headlines when he converted to Judaism in 2010, not long after being released from prison. Remember, he served nearly a decade behind bars for his role in that infamous 1999 nightclub shooting involving Diddy and his bodyguard. As for Loon, he left Bad Boy in 2008 and converted to Islam, stepping away from the music industry altogether. Finally, 50 posted a photo of Mace, who became a pastor after leaving Bad Boy, with the caption, "After you dance with the devil, you need God in your life. Look at what Puff did to murder Mace." If that wasn't enough, word on the street is that 50's upcoming documentary is set to dive deep into Craig Mack's tragic life and suspicious death, with some brand new details about Diddy's rumored involvement. Fans are already buzzing with anticipation, hoping this documentary will finally shed some light on what really happened to the legendary Craig Mack. One fan said, "Just like Diddy killed Kim and injected her to make it seem like she had pneumonia, did Diddy do something to Craig?" Another added, "Diddy is the grim reaper of the industry, taking everything and anything he wants by all means. This takedown has been a long time coming and well overdue. So sad Craig Mack had to go through this. RIP." But let's hear your thoughts on Craig Mack's tragic story. Do you think whatever trauma he suffered at Bad Boy made him vulnerable to being used by a cult? And how do you feel about this theory that Diddy had something to do with Craig's passing from AIDS? Drop your comments below, and don't miss out on this next story.